Finding the right space to launch my pharmacy was my first major challenge. I knew location was critical, so I hired a consultant company to conduct a site survey, quote unquote, and help me determine the best place to open. Let's just say that was a learning experience. The consultants weren't based in Miami, didn't understand my vision, and ultimately delivered a report that looked like something I could have thrown together on a dot matrix computer back in undergrad. It was a waste of money I could have used in a way that actually served me. Despite that setback, I kept searching and eventually landed in Coral Gables, right in the heart of the plastic surgery community. It was the perfect fit for my pharmacy model, but securing the right location was only the beginning. Next came the leasing agreement, then construction, and I had zero experience working with architects or contractors. Before I even met my general contractor, I faced another roadblock, finding an architect I could trust. I scoured the internet for reviews and testimonials, but architects don't exactly have a strong online presence filled with satisfied client feedback. It was frustrating and I almost gave up. Then, in a simple conversation with my dad, everything changed. He knew an architect with a solid reputation, someone who had delivered quality work time and time again. That introduction set everything in motion. The architect connected me with my general contractor, and between the two of them, and with the support of trusted family and friends, I learned an incredible amount about the leasing and construction process. This experience reinforced an important lesson. You don't have to be an expert in everything, but you do need the right team and you have to be willing to observe and learn. Just like a business plan serves as a roadmap for launching your pharmacy, the right professionals, architects, contractors, and legal advisors help navigate the complexities of securing and building out your space. In this lesson, I will walk you through what I learned, the challenges I faced, and the key takeaways that will help you make smart, informed decisions when it's time to bring your pharmacy to life. Before we dive in, let's go over what you will gain from this lesson. By the end, you will first understand the challenges of finding the right location for the pharmacy's success and why it is critical to get this step right. Next, you will learn how to evaluate potential locations using online applications to make informed decisions with confidence. You'll then recognize the importance of working with trusted professionals, including landlords, real estate attorneys, architects, and general contractors to streamline the construction process. Finally, you will gain insight into the leasing and construction process, including key considerations for designing a functional pharmacy space. Let's get started. When I started searching for a location for my pharmacy, I relied heavily on the observations I had made while working in a big box pharmacy. I noticed that many plastic surgery patients were coming into the stores where I worked, particularly in Doral. At first, I thought that opening a pharmacy in Doral would be a smart move since there seemed to be a strong demand there for plastic surgery patients. But what I did not realize at the time was why so many plastic surgery patients were showing up in Doral. The truth is, these patients were driving all over Miami trying to find a pharmacy that would fill their prescriptions immediately. If I had opened my pharmacy in Doral, I would have faced significant challenges providing the level of personalized, convenient, and concierge pharmacy care that I offer today. Thankfully, time and a learning experience with a potential landlord in Doral led me to the space I occupy today in Coral Gables, which positioned me close to the plastic surgeon's offices I serve and made it easier for patients to access the care they needed. This decision allowed me to build relationships with plastic surgeons and provide a seamless experience for their patients, filling prescriptions, offering personalized, convenient pharmacy care their patients love. Are you ready for a story time? During my search for the perfect space, I found a location in Doral with a reasonable leasing cost. I reached out to the landlord and his team who owned the entire shopping strip. They loved the concept of a plastic surgery focused pharmacy, recognizing the surge in demand, especially post COVID. However, from the start, communication with the landlord raised concerns. His assistant was friendly, but there were red flags during our conversations. When I finally received the lease, it was a 40-page document filled with grammatical errors. Plus, they discouraged me from having an attorney review it. When I insisted, they begrudgingly gave me only 48 hours, an unrealistic time frame for proper legal review. Thankfully, my dad had a friend who was a real estate attorney. Not only did he review the lease, but he also taught me how to read one myself. It was clear early on that this was not an agreement I should pursue. The lease contained multiple clauses allowing the landlord to reclaim my pharmacy for minor infractions, lacked essential tenant protections, and provided minimal security options. Looking back, this location would have made it much harder to secure suppliers and serve my target market. The key takeaway: always ensure your landlord is open to legal review, communicates transparently, and offers a lease that protects both parties. You don't need to understand a lease like an attorney, but as an informed business owner, you should know enough to safeguard your investment. Now let's talk about patient and market considerations. Your business plan should give you this information. It's not enough to rely on gut feelings. Start with specific assumptions about your market, then challenge them from real data. I recommend placing doctors at the center of your target market and working outward. Doctors drive referrals and your patient base, so positioning your pharmacy near a strong network of busy doctors will naturally create steady business. Here are the key questions your business plan should answer. Where are patients currently receiving pharmacy care? Understanding your target patient's behavior and pharmacy access will help you choose a strategic location. Who are the doctors that serve your target market and where are they located? You need a pool of busy doctors nearby to maintain consistent business. Where is your competition? Identify existing pharmacies and market gaps to position yourself effectively. And do your patients drive or rely on public transportation? If most patients drive, parking and traffic matter. If they use public transit, location near transit hubs is the key. Answering these questions will give you clarity and confidence when selecting your location, setting you up for long term success. Once you have a clear view of your target market and the doctors who manage their care, the next step is to evaluate the real estate and financial factors tied to your location. Even if you are near a strong network of doctors, the practical and financial realities of the property can make or break your business. Here are key questions to consider. What is the average cost per square foot? Knowing the going rate helps you determine if the location is financially sustainable. How visible is the storefront? High visibility increases foot traffic, but may come with higher costs. Is there a lot of inventory? More inventory options gives you negotiating power, while low inventory means acting fast. Would you pay county and city taxes? Double taxation can increase operating costs, so factor this in to your projections. What is the cost of building permits and certificates of use? These costs may vary widely, so plan for them up front. For me in Miami-Dade County, the building permit was approximately $600. In Coral Gables, it was greater than $5,000. Know this number. How close is law enforcement? A well patrolled area adds a layer of safety for patients and your team. Is parking and access to your pharmacy convenient? If patients struggle with parking or entry, they may go somewhere else. Evaluating these factors will help you make a confident, informed decision about your location. Next, let's explore how to align your business model with these costs and opportunities. Now that you know key real estate and financial considerations, it's time to start searching for available spaces for your pharmacy. To find the best location, leverage popular search engines like Zillow, LoopNet, or Realtor.com. These platforms offer commercial listings with filters that let you refine your search based on factors like size and budget, making it easier to find properties that meet your needs. Additionally, working with a broker can help ensure you find the perfect location. Brokers have local market knowledge and can assist with negotiations to secure a space that aligns with your goals. But still, make sure you have an attorney involved. Next, we will dive into the process of negotiating a lease and setting up your pharmacy for success. If the space you are considering lacks plumbing, fire safety systems, or existing electrical wiring, be prepared for significant costs and long construction timelines. Building out a space from scratch can take up to 2 years and cost more than $300,000 alone, depending on your location. Some landlords may cover part of the build out cost, but this often requires signing a long term lease of up to 10 years, limiting your flexibility if a better location becomes available. To save time and money, consider leasing a previously occupied space with existing utilities and fire safety systems. A minor build out can take 6 to 8 months, while a full build out can take 2 years. Always factor in these costs and timelines before moving forward. It may be tempting to hire an attorney who claims to understand real estate but does not specialize in it or practice it daily. I encourage you to avoid this. It is crucial to have a real estate attorney with daily experience because your landlord's attorney likely does. You need someone equally knowledgeable and prepared to advocate for you as effectively as the landlord's attorney advocates for them. Another consideration: hiring a real estate attorney can be expensive, with hourly rates ranging from $250 to $400. To avoid unnecessary legal fees, be deliberate in your process before bringing in an attorney. Ask yourself three key questions. Have I properly vetted the space? Is this the right location for me? Am I highly likely to move forward with this lease? Before involving an attorney, research the cost per square foot, contact the landlord and request a letter of intent, review the letter of intent yourself to ensure clarity and feasibility, including rent increases and additional fees, and lease terms, and assess the landlord's communication style and ensure they are open to legal review. Once you are confident in the location and terms, then bring your attorney in to negotiate. Do not sign anything until your attorney has given you the okay. This approach ensures you only pay for legal expertise when you are truly ready to move forward. Your real estate attorney will play a crucial role in advocating for you throughout the leasing and construction process. Here is how. First, letters of intent. Before a formal lease is drafted, your attorney can review and refine this non binding document to confirm that critical terms like rent, duration, and property use align with your needs. Letters of intent do not commit you to a property, but they do establish the terms that will be in the lease if you decide to move forward. So let your attorney negotiate the terms of your letter of intent. Second, lease negotiations. Your attorney will ensure that key terms such as rent, lease duration, property use, and responsibilities are fair and protect your interests, balancing the agreement between you and the landlord. Also, general contractor contracts. If your space requires construction or modifications, your attorney can review agreements with the contractor to define the scope of work, the cost, and timelines, preventing unexpected expenses or delays. Having an attorney who specializes in real estate law ensures you are prepared and protected in the same way that your landlord is. It is a good idea to create a short list of about 3 real estate attorneys you are considering and schedule consultations with each of them. During these meetings, pay close attention to their experience with lease negotiations, their understanding of landlord tenant transactions, and whether their fees are fair for the work they will be doing. Make sure they discuss key aspects like lease negotiations, letters of intent, and contractor agreements because these are critical to your process. You also want to assess their communication style. Are they respectful of your thoughts and questions? Are they responsive and available when you need them? An attorney who is too busy to prioritize your agreement could cause unnecessary delays. Before making a final decision, ask for an engagement letter outlining their services, fees, and availability. Compare your options and choose an attorney who best fits your needs. Before I had a real estate attorney or a construction company, I started my search for a space. I found a great shell of a space, which was concrete and fire sprinklers, no plumbing, electrical wiring, or fire safety systems. When I communicated with a contractor I found on Google about what needed to be done to build out the space, they quoted me an amount I thought was absolutely insane, definitely more than I could afford. When they saw the shock on my face, they stopped responding to me. At that point, I realized it would be best to consult with an architect. I knew that if I could give them the square footage and a rough idea of what I wanted, they could provide a cost range for architectural drawings and a rough estimate of the cost of the build out process. So my search for an architect began. Again, I turned to Google and looked for reviews, but it was difficult to find someone I could trust to provide a quality product at a fair market price. Fortunately, in a conversation with my dad, as I mentioned earlier in this course, he told me that he knew someone who had experience working on large commercial projects that might be willing to help me. Thankfully, he was. I connected with the architect, and when I started my search for the space I'm in now, he was able to give me a rough idea of the cost to design and build it out. That's when I realized that architects are the best resource for finding construction companies. They work closely with contractors and know which companies provide quality work. They also have a short list of recommendations and can tell you which contractors to avoid. I recommend that you start your search for an architect while searching for a real estate attorney. Once you know the rent per square foot of the space you are interested in and have communicated with the landlord, an architect can help you understand the costs of the architectural plans and the build out. When you decide to move forward, your attorney can step in. When you are preparing to work with an architect for your independent pharmacy, asking the right questions up front is essential to ensure you are on the same page and can avoid any surprises down the line. First, it is important to understand the architect's experience and specialization. You want to make sure they have worked on projects similar to yours, whether it's healthcare, retail, or pharmacy spaces specifically. Their expertise will play a huge role in how smoothly the process goes. Once you have addressed experience, ask about the timeline and deliverables. Get a clear idea of when key milestones will be met and when you can expect drafts of the final plans. You will need to know what you are working with so you can plan your own steps accordingly. As you move into the scope of work, be clear about what is included and, just as important, what's not. Architects typically break down the process into phases, so ensure you understand what each phase covers and that the scope aligns with your vision and budget. During the design and development phase, you'll be discussing the layout and overall look of your pharmacy. It is crucial to establish how the architect will coordinate with other parties involved, such as contractors and building and permitting officials for the city or county, to ensure a seamless flow of communication and that nothing falls through the cracks. Once you've got your design, the next phase involves construction documentation and plan approval. At this stage, the architect will prepare detailed drawings and documents that must be submitted to local building officials for approval. So, knowing how long this might take and what is needed is key. Then, as construction kicks off, you will move into the construction administration phase where the architect helps oversee the project to ensure everything is being built according to plan. Make sure you are clear on their role here, as some architects may provide more hands on involvement than others. And of course, discuss fees and any additional services. It is important to have a clear understanding of what is included in their pricing and what additional charges may surface as you move along in the process. You will want to establish how the architect will communicate with you throughout the process early. Regular updates and feedback are crucial to keep everything on track and to ensure you are getting exactly what you want. Lastly, talk about post completion support. After the pharmacy is built, will they help with any adjustments or follow up concerns? Setting expectations here will give you peace of mind of knowing that support continues even after the project is completed. The key takeaway here is that by asking the right questions early on and maintaining open communication, you will set yourself up for a successful partnership and a pharmacy that meets your vision. Using a 3D floor planner is a great way to visualize your pharmacy layout before building. These tools help you experiment with different designs and flows, giving you a clear picture of how your space will look. Once you have created your ideal layout, you can share the image with your architect to help them better understand your vision. It's an easy and effective way to ensure your ideas are communicated clearly. When the fire safety portion of my project began, the fire company told me that all of the fire alarm systems needed to be replaced. However, the architect had already evaluated the space, the city had approved the plans, and the building inspector had previously signed off on all of the existing systems as functional just months before. Despite this, the fire company insisted on replacing everything at a high cost. I referred to the approved drawings to advocate for myself. My contractor wasn't very helpful, as replacing the systems would increase his construction costs, but by standing my ground and using the drawings, I proved the replacement wasn't necessary, ultimately saving a lot of money. It is also crucial to have your building permit number, which your architect can provide. This allows you to track inspections and inspection notes, ensuring everything is done correctly. Additionally, take pictures of your space before any construction begins. Capture images of the fire alarms, the fire strobe lights, fire exits, outlets, fire sprinklers, and the air conditioning hardware. These photos will provide proof of the condition of your space before any work starts and can help avoid future disputes. The key takeaway is to keep a detailed record with your building permit number and photos of the space, and stay informed about what is included in your architectural drawings. This will help protect you from unnecessary charges, failed inspections, and inflated costs. Finding the right general contractor is a critical step in bringing your pharmacy to life. Start by focusing on their experience, reputation, and references to ensure they have a solid track record. It is also essential to have their certificate of liability insurance before moving forward. During consultations, have clear discussions about your budget, timeline, and project requirements. This helps set expectations from the start and prevents costly misunderstandings later. Whenever possible, choose a contractor recommended by your architect, because this often means they have an established, trusted working relationship, which can make the entire process smoother. Most importantly, communication is key. You want someone who listens, keeps you informed, and follows through on commitments. A great contractor will not only deliver quality work, but also stay on schedule and within budget, making your build out as seamless as possible. For a smooth construction process, start by asking when you can expect a proposal outlining the full scope of work to be performed. This will help you understand exactly what is included and set clear expectations from the beginning. Next, discuss the timeline. Ask about the estimated completion date and how the contractor handles unexpected delays. Knowing their approach to setbacks can help you plan accordingly. Financial clarity is just as important. Talk about the payment schedule and how they manage budget overruns or unforeseen costs. You don't want surprises when it comes to expenses. Site management is another key area to cover. Find out who will oversee daily operations and how they plan to maintain a safe, organized workspace. A well managed site keeps the project running smoothly and prevents accidents. Permitting is often a complicated part of construction, so ask whether they will handle all necessary permits and inspections. Understanding potential approval challenges upfront can save time and frustration later. If your project has special conditions, such as unique design elements or structural modifications, make sure to ask if they have experience with similar projects and how they handle unexpected challenges. Finally, communication is essential for a successful partnership. Ask how often you will receive updates and the best way to reach them with questions or concerns. A contractor who is responsive and transparent will make the entire process much easier. By covering these key points early, you will set the foundation for a reliable, well executed build out. When reviewing your contractor's proposal, you should expect a detailed breakdown that includes a clear description of the work, associated costs, and project timelines. This proposal sets the stage for your project, so it is important to see precise estimates of the cost for each part of the job. The proposal should start with general conditions, which outline project management, site supervision, and responsibilities. Following that, it should describe the existing conditions, noting any pre existing issues or structures that need to be addressed before the build begins. Expect to see sections for each component of the construction process. Wood, plastics, and composites will detail framing and carpentry work, while thermal and moisture protection will address insulation and waterproofing to maintain the building's integrity. The finishes section will cover everything from flooring to paint and other aesthetic elements, while millwork will include any custom cabinetry or built-ins. For essential infrastructure, look for detailed plans for plumbing, electrical, and utilities. This includes everything from water lines and drainage to power supply connections and lighting. Throughout the proposal, there should be clear estimates of the cost for each section. This will help you understand where your money is going and ensure that the contractor's estimates align with your budget. Reviewing these details carefully will give you a solid foundation to move forward with confidence. Once you have your building permit number from the architect, log in to your city and county's building department's workspace to track the details of your inspections and permitting. It is essential to stay on top of this process as it helps you catch issues early. Pay close attention to any updates or changes, and if there are any permitting or inspection problems, address them immediately with your contractor. It is important to communicate that you are actively monitoring the process. Instead of just saying you will follow up, show them that you are serious about maintaining the integrity of the project by staying engaged every step of the way. This sends a clear signal to your contractor that you are committed to ensuring everything runs smoothly and on schedule. Early in my construction process, I realized that my contractor had no real understanding of what a functional pharmacy setup required. When I described the cabinetry and storage I needed, he seemed unfamiliar with those details. I decided to take control and I sourced the cabinets and storage solutions myself. If I had allowed the contractor to handle this through a millwork company, I would have paid tens of thousands of dollars. Instead, I was able to purchase high quality pharmacy fixtures for under $4,000. This is why, when reviewing your contractor's proposal, you need to scrutinize allowances for cabinetry, storage, interior doors, flooring, and other customizable features. These are areas where you can significantly cut costs without sacrificing quality. To help you make informed decisions, I will share exactly where you can buy pharmacy fixtures at a reasonable price. For reference, my pharmacy features metal under counter cabinets. I chose them because they are easy to install, simple to clean, and extremely durable, ideal for high traffic pharmacy environments. the biggest lessons I learned during my pharmacy construction was how to control costs without cutting corners. Here are a few strategies to keep your budget in check. Take pictures early. Before any construction begins, document everything. Take photos of the fire alarms, exit signs, sprinklers, outlets, and existing structures. This will help you track changes and avoid unnecessary replacements. More walls, more money. Every additional wall means more materials, more labor, and more cost. Be strategic with your layout to minimize unnecessary partitions while maintaining functionality. Read your architectural plans. Your plans contain every approved detail for your build out. Understanding them will prevent contractors from adding work or making changes that inflate costs. Track your permits and inspections. Log into your city or county's permit portal using your building permit number. This lets you monitor inspections, spot issues early, and keep your contractor accountable. Source your allowances. Items like cabinetry, flooring, and storage solutions can often be sourced more affordably on your own rather than through your contractor. Doing this can save you thousands while ensuring you get exactly what you need. Staying proactive and informed throughout the process will help you avoid unnecessary expenses and keep your project on budget. Before we wrap up, let's go over what you've gained from this lesson. First, you now understand the challenges of finding the right location and why this decision is critical to your pharmacy's success. Next, you have learned how to evaluate potential locations using online applications, giving you the confidence to make informed choices. You also recognize the importance of working with trusted professionals, landlords, real estate attorneys, architects, and general contractors to streamline the construction process and avoid costly mistakes. Finally, you have gained insight into the leasing and construction process, including key considerations for designing a functional, efficient pharmacy space. The next slides contain the module worksheets and call to action items, helping you gain actionable steps to implement what you have learned. Let's put this knowledge into practice.